check the salt and everything else. So welcome everyone for this recording. And today we want to record this session whereby the trainer of trainers are going to take you through the session covering what Google offers, the technology, as well the capability, and some of the use cases. But here we'll not go into details. It's just to give you the mental model so that you can facilitate your community in the sessions where you will do them yourself or we will be supporting remotely. So the intention here is to reach over 20,000 developers in your ecosystem, ensuring they are able to compete and submit the solutions wherever they are, with the capability of the support of your skills. Definitely, the majority of people in this call, the assumption is that you're proficient in coding. So even the use cases will not delve into code structures and all that. It's just a matter of technology and what the technology is capable on. And also for the people who will be submitting their solution, we'll be looking at, are you able to build a use case that is really efficient in terms of compute, in terms of utilizing the technology end to end? Because remember, Africa Stocking is providing the 2G solution and Google is providing AI platform. So with that overview, I would like to welcome Graham to say one or two things, and then we'll open this up for the trainers here so that they can take you through. I can see a few more trainers also on the line, Miracle, or any other Trevor, so I can enable your presenter mode. So in case you have anything to say along, you can also join. Graham, welcome.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? I can't hear myself. Okay. All right. So welcome to this trainer of trainers, building with AI-powered applications with Google and Africa is Talking. Just as we had shared earlier, we are looking at it from bringing together the ecosystem of Google, as well as bringing I hope you guys can hear me. I'm muted now. All right. Okay, good. So sorry about that. So welcome to the Trainer of Trainers session with Google and Africa is Talking. For a long time, people have asked us, how are we bringing our tools into the AI age? So what we are going to experience in these 3 months is how we can use the telco APIs together with Google products, especially the AI, the Gemini Vertex, to see how you can build agents and you can transform various platforms that businesses use to communicate with their customers. Of course, you can do more than that because the APIs that Africa Stocking brings in generate a lot of data. So you can also look at how do you bring that data into create insights out of it and use it in the various use cases. Africa Stocking supports at least 17 sectors. So this also gives you an opportunity to apply the various applications in different sectors. So this is going to be also one of the interesting things. So I think we're off to a good start. Google will be providing at least 300 credits, US dollar credits for each of us. So not only the trainer of trainers, but every developer that joins will be able to receive that. We will share with you the links as soon as they are available. But this allows you, and of course, if you exhaust the $300, I think we should always ask for more. We'll be able to ask for more tokens for you. But just to enable you to learn and as well as create at least MVPs or a product that can be adopted by a business or an organization. So as we go into the program, you will also have an opportunity to submit some pilot projects. There will also be a leaderboard. So as people are building, as you guys are building, you'll see the opportunities to also win cash as well as win prizes. Of course, we are targeting at least 10 or 20 countries, but doesn't stop us from supporting anybody across Africa. So as long as you are in Africa and you'd like to build with Google Cloud and Africa Stocking, this is also going to be one of those opportunities for the year. So back to MK and looking forward to how this develops.
Thank you. Thank you, Graham. That was a really good more insight on it. So without further ado, we'll start with Ian taking us through one of the modules, and then we progress step by step. Ian, the floor is all yours.
Hello. Okay. Hi guys. Hope you're all doing great. Let me just share my screen. Okay. I'm going to be taking you through module 3. This is part of the Google Cloud modules that we are going to be going through. Okay. Just pull up my notes. So the objectives of this module will one, to set up the environment with Africa Stocking. So this is pretty much already understandable since most of you have been already interacting with the Africa Stocking API. So one, set up the development environment with Africa Stocking. Number two, so we need to understand the AT ecosystem and also the service architecture. So this is including the USSD, SMS, airtime, voice, callback as a service, what else? SIM swap. So there are a couple of services that you can utilize from AT. So we'll just go through them and trying to understand how we can utilize them within the this partnership with Google. So number 3 also, we'll configure the Google Cloud ecosystem and also just understand the IAM basics. So this is how to set up your cloud environment, those cloud runners, serverless services and everything. So we'll just get started with the initial sort of 1.1. So this is the environment setup and AT API. So one, this is quite self-explanatory. So one, you just go to the AT sandbox, set up your account, you just retrieve your API credentials, then we'll create some basic SMS voice sample application with the programming language of your choice. But to sort of standardize this, on my end, I chose JavaScript. So my code examples are mostly going to be in JavaScript. Okay. So the next topic we are going to be going through is Google Cloud setup and authentication. So this is whereby you create your GCP projects and also enabling the services that you're going to be utilizing. So also setting up the service accounts and all the IAM roles, authentication patterns for your application. Also, you can check out the Google Cloud SDK setup in Colab. So we'll be sharing most of these links and documentation with you. So as you continue to provide this knowledge, it's going to be as clear as possible for you. Then the next thing we're going to be going through is the development workflow setup. Since this is going to be like a 3-month challenge program, so we need you to just get the basics of Git API development, so you can do versioning for your APIs, so that when you can easily track your changes and everything. So also environment variable management. So since we're going to be using Colab for the better part of this program, so we'll just utilize the secrets, Google Secrets. You can easily manage your secrets and not expose them. So that's part of it. Then, okay, then we'll be building some practical exercises. So some code examples have not been included here, but they are going to be added in due time. So like number one over here, we'll be building like so this is a simple challenge you can give the people who are going to be attending your sessions. So like building a simple SMS bot to respond to incoming messages. So I've already created some tests. Let me just clear that. So this is just some basic information to help you get started up. So you can just install. So if you're going to be using any programming language, so for my case, I am using Node.js and JavaScript. So you can easily just set up Node.js on Colab, set up your Africa stocking projects, then you just install the AT packages, Express, and the relevant ones that you're going to be using. So also we'll be doing some secret management. So you can put them in the ENV or use the Google Secrets over there. So then over here, we create a simple SMS bot, just a simple one. So this is a two-way SMS one. So you'll just go to your AT dashboard on the sandbox, but we'll hope that most of the attendees might use the live environment, so they can easily just access a test shortcode. You can set up your callback on the AT dashboard. This is my sample callback over here, SMS webhook. So I'm going to be receiving I'm going to be receiving this webhook from Africa Stocking, then I can easily just destructure it, log the SMS received. Then I can respond to the user based on the input. So if I receive a hello, I can just respond with, this is an SMS bot, how are you doing? Then I have like a few options here of help, weather, time. I can also tell a joke or anything, then respond back to the user. So these are sample applications that you can easily get started with AT. So since I started with like small scale applications, then people can build them up to any type of application that they wish. So it's not limited to any option. So the next one, so this is also just running it on the Colab environment. So you can easily just run it over there and you'll get your sample response. So the other thing, module 2 in this module 3 content, which is, so I forgot to mention it. So this topic that you're going to be covering on module 3 is mostly going to be building, securing, and deploying Africa Stocking integrated applications. So this is mostly just building AT applications, deploying them, securing them. So this is going to be like mostly like an advanced level, whereby module 1 and 2 will sort of give you the basics of AT, just to help you just touch bases with AT and also Google, and just understand those environments. So the assumptions when coming into module 3 will be you've already understood the AT ecosystem, the AT structure, how to set up a product, SMS, USSD, voice. So this will mostly just be going hands in depth to just see how you can integrate Google AI services in all of these applications. So we have already mentioned most of that. So the second topic you're going to be covering in this module 3 will be API security. There's a typo over here. I'll just fix that. So after building your applications, how do you secure them? There are a couple of resources that you're going to be sharing, but this is basically just an overview of what we'll be covering or what you'll be sharing with the attendees. So implementing OAuth 2, API key management, also applying encryption for sensitive data. So how you can encrypt data in transit or at rest. So also we'll be understanding the webhook security patterns. So these are like the HMSC, like how do you verify these are legit webhook coming in from AT? You can either like whitelist your IPs, IPs or use that HMSC verification, but we'll cover most of those. As we proceed, we also cover like authentication and authorization patterns. So like the Auth2 implementation, API key rotation, how often do you rotate your API keys, and how do you secure your API keys, GWT tokens for session management, especially if you are working with like USSD and also voice sessions. How do you manage these very effectively? Also like rate limiting and throttling. So these are some of the topics that we'll be covering. Also data encryption and security. This is part of in line with security in this module 3. So encrypting data at rest and in transit, the HMSC signature verification for webhooks, also secure credential storage with Google Secret Manager. So these are some of the things that we'll be covering. Also input validation and also sanitization. So like how often do you validate the user inputs, and do you sanitize to ensure that the information being input in your forms or in your text boxes is correct and not malicious. Also, we'll be covering security testing and vulnerability assessment. So under this, we'll cover some common API security vulnerabilities, security testing, implementing security headers, and also like cause configuration for your web applications. So this one will be mostly relevant for like airtime and SMS applications. So since that will, when we get there, we'll expand on it further. Then we'll also cover, so since we are building and deploying AT applications, we'll cover how to be, we'll just try and understand the multi-channel application architecture, like how do you design multi-channel communication flows, where you can combine both SMS, USSD, voice together and create efficient handlers for each. Also create like, we'll also provide information about how to manage user sessions, especially for USSD and also for voice, so that you can easily route a user to specific information or content that they are required to view. Also, we'll do like some SMS integration deep dive just to understand how you can personalize the SMSs for your end users, or how your attendees will easily just understand how to perform personalization in while utilizing the bulk SMS APIs. So also understanding SMS delivery reports, so you can easily set up those webhooks to just receive the delivery reports, or even perform status tracking to know if SMS have been delivered or not. Also, just to understand two-way SMS conversations, like the SMS bot that I've showed you, will just expand on that even more, like how you can easily build two-way conversation workflows, like easily. This can be easily for surveys, or even those gamifying those experiences. We'll also even understand the premium SMS integration. So the SMS, the bulk SMS ecosystem is quite huge, so we can easily just expand on each as we proceed. And then we'll just go down to voice API implementation, just to understand the IVR design, call routing, how do you forward these, how do you forward the calls, so you can also manage voice recording and playback, and also just to understand the text-to-speech integration, which languages you can easily translate to, and also like which voices you can choose dependent on what your users expect. And also USSD application development, so like how do you navigate the different menus. So also session state management, so since multiple users are interacting with your USSD, how do you efficiently manage that session state, like when a user is transitioning from one menu to another, how do you manage that effectively. Also, like how do you fall back from SMS to, how do you fall back to SMS when USSD fails, and also how do you do performance optimization for USSD. Okay, then we'll also create some practical exercises whereby we can have building like multi-channel customer service systems. So this will entail building this customer service with SMS, voice, and USSD in mind. So a user can easily call this customer service system and be routed to the different menus. They can easily access it via SSD or even on using SMS. So that is something we'll be showcasing for these practical exercises. Then we'll go down to the nitty-gritties of the Google AI integration. How do you build, how do you integrate Google AI services with APIs? How do you build conversational AI agents? This can be for SMS, this can be for voice. We'll showcase a couple of examples as we proceed. Also, like how do you do NLP in your applications? So let me just clean that up. So NLP, Also, like Google Cloud Services overview, we'll just get an overview of that, like Diagflow, like how do you do text to speech for voice processing? How do you do like translation for that multilingual support? So like if people are speaking different languages, how do you support that? Or how do you effectively relay that to your end users and your customers? Also the natural language AI for sentiment analysis is how we'll just understand how you can easily gauge the sentiment from either user input or user response to effectively route them to a specific conversation. So we'll expand on that more as we proceed. So we'll just also understand how we can build conversational voice agents, how you can easily plug in the speech recognition in your pipeline, how to easily identify intent, and also entity extraction. So when a user is providing a recording, or you can easily stream that using your SIP connections. How do you easily extract this information from a call, or how do you extract the intent of the user? So whereby you can easily switch them to either a live agent or proceed to that AI agent that you have. We'll also understand context management across the voice sessions. So since if you're building these AI powered voice applications, so we need to manage the user context across the call duration. How do you manage that effectively without overwhelming your entire application? So we'll also do just to understand fallback handling and also error recovery. So in case an error occurs, how do you effectively recover from that, and how do you proceed from there? We'll also cover AI-powered SMS bots. I think he started with the initial example that we had for our initial bot. So how do you do NLP processing for your SMS text? How do you do like that intent classification, learning from your user actions? How do you respond to different messages, or even gauge that sentiment from the user's text input? So do a couple of A/B testing for conversational workflows. This can be very effective. This will mostly work during for the two-way SMS conversations, but we'll cover most of that. Then we'll have some practical exercises. So we'll have a couple of practical exercises throughout this module 3. By now we'll now sort of advance our previous example, customer service agent. Now we'll make it AI powered. So how do we plug in Google AI to handle both voice and SMS to make this much more effective for your organization, for your customers, and also for your attendees? Then we'll proceed to just understand how do you deploy these services on Google Cloud. How do you use Cloud Functions, Cloud Run, App Engine? There are a couple of services that we'll utilize from Google. How do you even do automatic scaling and load balancing? And also, how do you configure serverless monitoring? These are a couple of things that we'll be going through. So for Cloud Functions and webhook handling, so like you can easily utilize the callback as a service, but also like how do you use Google serverless for for HTTP triggers for your webhooks? So you can easily set up your webhooks on your serverless functions. So like when an event is triggered, what do you do, or how do you respond to that? We can also even understand the event-driven processing patterns and everything. Also for cold start optimizations for your serverless functions, and also function composition and also orchestration. So a couple of things that we'll just be going through. Also, like how do you utilize Cloud Run and also containerized applications? This is whereby you're using Docker, how you're using Cloud Run to automatically scale your applications. How do you do like traffic splitting in case your application has a spike. So how do you load balance that? Also resource allocation and also performance tuning. How do you effectively assign or allocate resources to your applications? These are a couple of things that we'll be just going through, and also app engine, and also full application development. So this will be the whole workflow whereby we started building our initial application. How do we secure it, and how now do we finally deploy it on the Google ecosystem? And we'll for final practical exercise, we'll now fully deploy our application using the serverless platforms. You can easily use the serverless platforms. You can easily use Cloud Run, whichever platform that you'll feel comfortable with. We'll easily just compare and just compare the performance of each and contrast and see which one is best for your use case. So you can, for like webhooks, you can easily use serverless functions. You don't require like a whole Dockerized application for that, unless you have some various intent. So this is just the gist of what we'll be covering. There's so much more that we'll be covering through this 3-month period. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. You can easily just put them in the chat and we'll respond back to it. So this is just the gist of module 3. I'll hand over back to MK, and then we'll just discuss the different modules that you're going to be learning about. And we'll also share this Google Colabs with all the practical exercises and also the examples that you can easily utilize. Thank you for your time and have a good day. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate, put them on the chat and we'll respond back to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ian. It's quite detailed. I've not seen any question on the chat though, but I would like to open this also for other trainers who are joining and have presenter mode on, so that in case you want to add some meat into it, it will be great. But as you have noted, you're not going into detail, but definitely these will be accessible to you by the end of the day so that you can familiarize yourself with the content and to be able to self-run. Now, the beauty of it is that as much as you'll be running these in person, we'll also be joining online for a few hours to support where need be. All the trainer of trainers that you see here will be supporting. So definitely we'll set up a couple of events like this where now we share in the room and the participant can ask questions. Also, we'll have a Slack channel where we'll all be present. So in case there's any technicality, it can be posted there in detail. If it's a GitHub link, it can be posted and then we can be able to help out. So welcome, Trevor. I'm just Fat, Sanusi, Pius, Adam, and everyone on the call. I'd like to hand over this to our Ebo, Sylvia Debet, Kipkimoy. She was supposed to open this up with huge energy, but yeah. So welcome. Please, the floor is all yours. Take us home.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, MK, for the very warm introduction. Worry not. Delaying does not mean the energy is not there. Energies are constant, yeah? It's how you live life. It's the energy that we're bringing into this Google and Africa's Talking program, and I hope we're all excited to get started. Ian has given a good, thorough overview of the third module, and I apologize for coming in late, so I'm not sure if it was broken down, but there'll be modules integrating both Google Cloud and Africa's Talking. And that's the advanced module. I will be taking you through the introductory module in a few just to give you an overview of what is expected. But the idea is that you will have knowledge and basis for both the Africa's Talking modules and the Google Cloud modules. And then you'll be able to merge that into capstone projects that will be amazing, to say the least. Yes. So that being said, glad to see you guys on the call. Let me immediately go over to sharing my screen to that particular module. Mode of operation is Google Colab for now, just so that you can also run it on your side. And this will be shared with you. You can be able to run the cells. You can be able to understand, go through a bit slower. We'll move a bit faster now just to give the high level understanding. Yeah, I see my screen. Fantastic. We all see the screen, right? It is standard for virtual meetings to always ask, can you? Glad we have that out of the way. The basis of the first module, or this is the very first module in that series of modules. So introductory. It's all about introducing Africa's Talking APIs. It's all about introducing how APIs essentially work. Good to know for this one is it's running on Google Colab. Instructions will be given in particular cells. There'll be cells for code to run. What I have used is Python, so you'll be able to just follow along, but there may be addition of maybe a language or two later. But for now, this is what we will do. You will see the general overview, what is expected, what is run where. As a trainer, your task is to really break down this concept, ensure that you fully understand it so that you can break it down and make the participants or those taking the program and understand it, because this lays basis for all the modules to come, right? So basically gives you an overview of how long it will take. Again, this is an average. That people will take 15 minutes, that people will take 6 hours. Worry not, it's all okay. Very beginner friendly. It's just an understanding of what APIs are, understanding of the Africa's Talking platform, understanding of principles in REST APIs, making API calls, authentication, what that entails. API security is handled further in the advanced module that Ian just shared, and how to read and interpret documentation, basically, right? So this menu on the left will guide you through anything, going through and just navigating through the notebook, so you can easily see what is covered and easily explain that breakdown. Nuggets with important pointers, note, good to know, mini challenge. Very important to focus on those, because yeah, those are the ones that will give you the actual understanding or hands-on practice on the same. Starts with an introduction of what APIs are. You will go through the content. It basically gives you a breakdown, gives you a thorough understanding of how APIs ideally work, right from users to the applications and how that movement of information works. You can give various examples when you're explaining to the participants. Calling them students is weird. Let's go with participants. You can give various examples when you're explaining to participants who are partaking in the program. Give them ideas on how to really apply API concepts in normal life. There are different types of APIs. For this particular one, we'll be focusing on the REST APIs, which is common for web services. And that's what we'll be looking at. Basics would just be different types of requests that you make: a get request, a post request, a put, a delete, any other aspects that you may need. Feel free to use examples. For example, and getting, you get this information, could be that food that is being received. When posting, you're sending your order, posting your order. When putting, you're updating, changing from I want 3 fries to 5 fries because I'm hungrier than I thought. Delete is canceling the entire order. Make it very applicable with normal day-to-day life things. Some key concepts to be covered here are endpoints, headers, the payload, and the response. So that will be important as we're going through the notebook, for the users to understand how to access them, why they're important, and what they're doing that for. Then we start making it a bit interactive, very random. First of all, we're just making a very random API call, just having the participants understand how they can make an API call and what to expect. What is an API call? Now bringing it into the code aspect. What do you give? What do you receive? How does that go about? Should have hidden these cells, because why is Sylvia made for age 71? But just give them different aspects to test around with, right? And then now getting into the Africa's Talking context, what are APIs and what's that overview like in this particular segment?
You're on mute, Sylvia. We lost you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where did I go into mute? At what point?
Like 1 minute into it.
Really? I've been rambling, and the way I had jokes piled
Okay,
up.
not 1 minute,
Guys.
though, like
All
30
right.
seconds. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. How far back do I go? I go back to the REST API principles.
Yes, maybe after that, just
Fantastic.
immediately after that.
Fantastic. Awesome. So on making the first API call, apologies for muting this technology. So when you're making your first API call, the important aspect for the participants to grasp in this particular section is that they basically understand how to make that call. What they give as parameters, this is a random example that they can just get them acclimatized to what API calls are, and then what to expect in a response. This is a basic one that I gave it a name and it gave me, the age 71 is not very fitting for me. I prefer like 16. But it's just to get them understanding how an API call works, surface overview. And then now we get into Africa's talking APIs. Again, you are familiar with these concepts. It's the various products that Africa's talking has, and it's an API company. So what we do is offer the API for this particular product. So now that they understand the concept of APIs, now we bring it into the communication aspect, right? And setting up your account on Africa's Talking, you start with your authentication and setup. This is basically guiding the participants through setting up their accounts on Africa's Talking. It's on the website, how to just create the accounts and access things like the API key, the sandbox. If they're not familiar, the link here is to the repository that usually has those directions. Following the steps should enable them to successfully set up an account at the end of this. And just to test out if they've been able to retrieve their username and API key, just a simple widget to have them understand, so that this proves that they have known where to extract the API key and where to extract the username. Very important for Africa's Talking, because going forward, that's what you use for credentials in your code. That's what you use for your authentication. They're very important aspects you need to understand where to retrieve them from the word go. So once that is in place, a few tips just to help them understand. The use of secrets is very important. Even as people are learning APIs, they're also learning best practices, because you don't just where I'm from, we say you don't just learn without a formula. Let's say that here. That's the better explanation. So you learn how to store them as secrets. It's usually the environment file when you're running your code, where you just put all your secret aspects that are not pushed to any public platforms such as GitHub and the likes. You don't push that. Those ones are on a secret. So in the Colab environment, you can be able to actually store them in your secrets, and they can do that and retrieve it just when they're calling it in a particular cell to run a particular function. So they can test how to get the usernames both in box and in live, and then you can explain the concept of sandbox and live. Sandbox, purely testing. A child sandbox is all for testing, and going live means you're actually using this on a valid number, right? So once you've stored them in secrets, they understand that this is important, they test it out, and they're able to confirm that they can do best practices. That being said, we now delve into actually using one of the APIs to get them started and understanding what is required. And they start with sending an SMS with Africa's Talking. What has been used here is Python, just for basic understanding. That's the language that has been used. And so it's instructions right from installing the libraries, packages, and then running that, and then initializing and with the username and API key that was stored, and then being able to send their very first message. So things to note in this, even as you're doing the training as trainers to users, there are some aspects such as sender ID that is needed when a user is going live. And when on Sandbox, they don't necessarily need it. So if they have initialized with their Sandbox credentials, they can run, because you can create your own shortcode on Sandbox and you're not sending your SMSs to the simulated phone. If it is on live, we'll share a form and link it over here so you'll be able to see it, where they can request to get a sender ID marked to their account for them to do this particular testing. So if on that particular day they don't have a sender ID yet, no worries, they can still use it on Sandbox and that will work. But if they fill in, I'll share the form over here, then you can be able to map sender IDs to their accounts manually, and then they'll be able to see it on their app dashboard. So it's very important to know how to access some of these products. I will leave a sheet. I'll run a cell on this notebook. I'll leave a cell here that explains the different Africa's stocking products and how to access them, because at the end of it, users should be able to get all of them. Running forms where any participant who needs any product can always log that in, see it from our end, and we'll be able to map it to their accounts. So this is just testing and having them send their first SMS. If they input a valid number, if it's live, they will receive it. If they input a number of the simulated phone, they're able to also receive a response. So that's getting to understand the API process itself. So you create an account, you've retrieved your credentials, and you've sent an API request. Fantastic. This is setting the participant up for the advanced modules coming in and for the integration of this particular knowledge with cloud and AI. Yeah. So it will be very introductory, just get them understanding and also understanding what a response entails. SMS is the product that is just used to map it out, but it's to give them an example of a JSON of a response so that they can be able to deduce it and be able to understand. So this means this is what a successful message looks like. I'll add examples of other types of messages or other codes that may signify one or two problems here and there. But all this information, again, is always on the documentation, and you can always run this training side by side with the documentation, because one of the objectives is to have the participants be able to understand it while they're doing it and also know how to read and interpret documentation. It will be very important for this particular program. Yeah. So if there are any questions, they can always ask. We'll have sessions where they can ask. And in this event being published as well, there will be discussions. There's the Slack channel. There's a lot of avenues where you can always channel if there are challenges happening here and there. Small mini challenges just to help the participants understand what an API call is and what is required, and then an example of the same thing now similar in airtime APIs and another challenge around that, and just an introduction to voice and USSD. So it's getting them set up with the different APIs to understand how they work, just so that they can build up for the next modules. Yes, so it's a summary of everything. Might have a few more examples added here and there for airtime, might be added so that they can also get to see the cell practically and run it as well. But the introductory module is all about, at the end of it, the participants should be able to have learned what APIs are. They can explain it, they know how REST APIs work, they know the African Stocking platform and the products and how to access their account and their apps and be able to set that up, make API calls. They've sent an SMS with African Stocking, so they understand the process end to end. This high level and practical understanding is important for building up to the next modules. So yeah, I will share, these notebooks will be shared, so you will get them and you'll be able to go through them beforehand, but you are superstars by virtue of being on this call, so worry not. You'll be able to smoothly go through this and really understand what it entails and tackle any questions. But in case of anything, always be there to support as well, so that if there are aspects that are not covered or there are aspects that come up and you realize could be a gap, again, we're very open to hearing those so that we can see how we can bridge that and really make quality solutions at the end of the program. That's the idea. Yes. Yeah, that is the first module. Introductory is very fun, breezy, beautiful. Yeah, with colors, emojis, just to get you enticed, because when things get thick later, you will at least remember you have good fundamental understanding. All right, that is it from the first module, unless there are questions. Now let me go back to the chat. Yes, unless there are further questions. If again you are not familiar with any of the products by African Stocking, because I know the Google experts, certified experts on the call. Worry not, all the links will be there, and it's very straightforward, and you can just follow along and understand. For purposes of understanding, just to know how that particular works, you'll run the cells as well, fill it in with your details. It's really step by step to help you get acquainted, and this is good basis for all the modules coming ahead. So that's the overview. I don't know. Okay, fantastic. Pius. When using voice calling, yes. WebSockets are, but that's in the advanced module. Again, the introductory module will just be introductory. It will not have lots of details to cover, but yeah, fantastic. You will see that in the upcoming modules. Dagi, Ian will share somewhere in the upcoming modules. For this one, all they need to know is understanding of how APIs work, because this will not be covered again. They need to, we'll assume that after here they know how APIs work fully and thoroughly and understand, right? Yeah, all right, fantastic. Thank you very much. Back to you, MK, in studio. You guys have very cool microphones. Yeah.
You didn't just pull that one. So thank you so much, Sylvia, for covering that. I think at the end of your presentation, I saw build with AT and build with AI. Those will be the two main hashtags that we'll be using. In fact, we want to make this as lively online as it is in person. And we'll even have awards for that. Graham as a page full of goodies for these guys. Also, I need to mention that we'll be able to co-facilitate the trainers in different occasions as much as it's within our reach. So feel free to reach out in case you want to really do something and you're stuck, but you don't know where to go. We're available for you. Something else, also share your X account. Feel free to tag us to help you also, retweet or even LinkedIn post that you're gonna create out of this, and to make it more lively, because it's a 3 months of back-to-back high energy and good solutions built out of AI and Africa. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Dagi to take us to the next step. Dagi, the floor is all yours. Feel free.
Thank you, MK. Let me share my screen. Just a minute. Okay, perfect. Good. Yes, records. Okay, good. Yes. So in the second module, we'll be looking into advanced Africa stocking APIs, and then we'll also touch on to the Google Cloud Generative AI. Can you hear me good, right? Yes. So first of all, this will be building up on top of the module 1, the one that Sylvia has introduced, where you got to learn the basics of APIs, REST APIs, things like that, and the core Africa stocking APIs. So now in module 2, we are going to build up upon those skills. And we are going to focus heavily on airtime, SIM swap, and voice. Yeah. Then we're also going to touch on webhooks and callbacks and multi-API workflows. The next after that will be conversational workflow design, then AI-enhanced communication. And then in those bits, we're also going to have some lab exercises, lab challenges that the learners will implement. So by the end of the session, learner will be able to integrate multiple Africa stocking APIs into a single workflow, confidently handle asynchronous events, webhooks and callbacks. Yeah. Also, they'll understand how to connect Africa stocking APIs with Google Cloud Generative AI tools. They'll also learn how to deploy agents that leverage SMS channels and apply AI models to analyze and enhance customer interactions. Yeah. Before we get into the deep dives, we are going to take the learners through how to check the environment. This is to make sure that they are running the same thing as we are running. So there'll be things like checking the details of the OS, checking the packages they have installed. Yes. Onto the Airtime API. The first part is, to make a learner understand why it is important. Yeah. So in our case, things like.
Can you please zoom in, explain a bit?
Perfect. Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, awesome. Yes. So use cases of the Airtime API could be things like customer rewards, transaction confirmations, emergency top-ups. So then I'll take them through first how to install the Africa stocking package. Yeah. For this tutorial, I'll use Python, but down there first of all, a user can use any language. A learner can use any language they prefer, but in this tutorial, we'll go with Python. So show them how to install the Africa stocking package and how to initialize it. Again, just as Sylvia mentioned, the user will store their keys, yeah, in the env variable site, in the secrets, yeah. Next, we'll take them through again, sending airtime, pretty much basic at this stage yet. And now the user can also have a small lab challenge here, and also how to handle errors gracefully. The next one we go to is SimSwap. The biggest use case for SimSwap here will be fraud prevention, basically security. And why this is important is that if we are going to use AI out there, you need everything to be checked and everything to be secure. You don't want to open yourself to threats. So in this section, we're going to explain how the API works, the use cases, then we're going again to implement the codes. Next, so this is a very, the way I'm explaining is in a very summarized way, but the details. We are going to check the status of a SIM card, whether it's been swapped lately, then we are going to give the learner a challenge, basically a way for them to top up airtime to a number that they are sure is owned by a certain customer. And if the customer doesn't own it, the airtime top up is blocked. Yeah. So this ties in very neatly with a webhook. So in airtime, you can send airtime without validating, but you can also validate. Yeah. So we can tie the SimSwap logic to validating. So if a number has been swapped, just stops it. Yeah. So in this section now we talk about webhooks and callbacks, things like getting delivery reports and inbound message asynchronously. For this one, we are going to use Flask, Kenya, and Jira. Again, we take the users through. In this section, users can deploy their apps on Cloud Run. Then they can also store. No, in this lab challenge, they can now store their messages in, say, Google Sheet or Firestore. The next section, we will dive into Voice API with a focus on SIP. We are going to show the users, learner. We're going to show the learners all about SIP and how you can tie it with Africa Stocking Voice API. The focus will be on webhook control and the XML responses, which can be used in IVR, co-routing, recording, and bridging SIP PBX endpoints. Next, So there'll be a few requirements for this section. You'll need a voice number. You'll also need a SIP credentials that will come from Africa Stock. Then we're going to basically explain these flows, from the telco to AT to webhook to SIP. And now the reverse for outbound calls. We're also going to teach users on how to do XML responses with very minimal examples down here. Things like recording a call, forwarding a call, dialing a SIP client, phone numbers, simple phone numbers, things like that. We're also going to give them webhook examples using Flask. Then as we go down, how to handle voicemail, things like that, how to initiate outbound calls. And then we will have a lab exercise here where we'll tell a user to configure the IT number to point into a voice endpoint and to implement, the other flows above. We're also going to have one lab challenge for voicemail and another one for hand group. Then after that, we are going to create a multi-API workflow. Herein, we are going to have insights, which is SIMSOP, airtime, and SMS. There's a part that's going to be added here for voice. Just realized right now that it's missing. Yes. So basically, it's to check whether a SIM card has been swapped into Wendy's and then doing an action based on that. Then down here, there's also another lab challenge, which will be to top up in batch or in bulk through a CSV. Again, sort of pretty basic. Yeah. Then there'll be a success criteria. Then next after that, we are going to loop in our Google Cloud Generative AI and agents. We are going to focus on Vertex AI. So again, first we start with a very simple prompt, and then the next part will be about now connecting Africa Stocking APIs with Google AI. Our first use case will be SMS, secure top-up, or an AI reply. Yeah. Say if a top-up couldn't, if say a SIM card has been swapped and we can't do a top-up, we're going to just respond with an AI reply. Yeah. What else? Down here, again, similar, but then there'll be a lab challenge. Again, for SIM swap, checking safe numbers, things like that. Then there'll be a capstone project for secure airtime bots. Yes. Let me see. You have missed out. Yeah, so it will be pretty much it. There's a part that's being added here for SIP and AI. It's a bit small, but it's going to be added. Yeah, pretty much it. Back to you, MK.
Thank you so much, Douglas. That was an amazing presentation. The module, what needs to be done there.
So
I hope you're ready to add a few missing pieces by the end of the day. That's a plan to share everything, get everyone ready, and familiarize themselves with what is available. Yeah, so this also opens a chance. I think you can hear me, so I don't know if there's an echo or something. Yeah, so ideally, we want to open the platform for other trainers who have joined us here, especially the Google certified experts. If you'd like to say one or two things before we hand over to Ben, this is your chance. You can see Trevor. Feel free to turn on the camera, microphone, and greet us. Super excited to have you here. Yeah. Trevor, you wanna say hi? All right. There was Rogers, who I think has dropped. There was Miracle. Okay. Right. So we'll proceed as we wait for them to gather the courage and greet us, or figure out where the unmute button is and greet us. I hope, Sanusi, the black screen has been resolved. Maybe you can drop and rejoin. Yeah. I also see Graham's screen is black for some reason. Okay, I see. Yeah, so proceed, Ben.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, good. So for my section, it was mostly about, let me share my screen. So mine is like associated with Capstone, where people could say that's the final boss or something. So I'm just gonna give you a break from the Jupyter notebooks. And here, essentially, what you'll be working on is, can you make an agent or something that does something on your behalf to maybe send information to people? It could be it could be dependent on maybe some messages they send. Maybe you can have a two-way SMS system for that. But always in systems like this, it's always nice to verify beforehand. So you might need to look into a verification layer. But just moving into the goals of this, or what you're supposed to build within this session, is mostly a research augmented conversational agent. Yeah, that's a mouthful, but here you're just going to, like, from all the modules you've gone through, you'll be able to make a fully blown application and use the tools like Docker Compose to put it all together, and maybe go an extra step and go to maybe Google Cloud Run to have your application up and running. So here's a proposed stack you can use. So you can use React and Fast API, as well as LangGraph. So LangGraph is mostly used for observability, seeing what your you can think of it as these conversations are going on with your two-way SMS system. You're looking at what messages are being sent in, if that's the path you want to take, and then what is the result from the model, and how LangGraph has this agentic framework where you are able to have all these systems that talk to the large language model in a more of a developer-friendly kind of way. And people have found a lot of success with LangGraph. So you can start with LangGraph, but the other orchestration or the other frameworks that you can use, which are really good, like Crew AI. Another one is possibly is I think Pedantic. That one you'll have less like dependencies to roll around with. So you can look at those. And then of course you can use Africa's Talking to help you put the two SMS system. Then you can containerize it with Docker Compose. And then of course you can build tests, evaluation metrics, just to show correctness, latency, and also citation quality. So this citation part is very important to help you verify that this information is actually gotten from particular websites in the internet. And also it reduces on the problem of hallucination, where the model comes up with things. And at least when you have these citations, you're able to know, like, hey, it got it from this. And also, I think there is a part that I skipped for just making the system even way more safer. And that is to do with things like how can you help? How can you put your model together and the system together to block against things like people send a lot of personally identifiable information. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with hallucinations? That's where the model comes up with things which could be inaccurate. And how do you deal with maybe some toxic things that the model could say in some edge cases? And there is a tool by the UK AI Safety Institute. It's called Inspect. You could use that to help you put all those things together. And there's some specific things like Llama Stack. There's some specific things that Google has that can help you also with that particular situation, and we'll go through it when you get to this particular point in time. And here I can take you through a bit of the architecture. So this will have the front end and the back end. And here you can use React, and this is Vite UI as well as an example. And then for the land graph, the agentic stuff, you can use Fast API. So this is a combination of React, Python, and maybe some other things to help you put these two things together. So you'll have to handle the query. There'll be the query generation, web search. Here you'll be using Google search, and then there's a part for reflection, like the model confirms that whatever that's going on is actually makes sense, so that you get very high quality answers. And then for just storing the information between these interactions, you could use Redis or Postgres. And maybe if you want to use some similarity search, you can use the extensions for Redis and Postgres to make a vector database, so that you're able to look for maybe similar queries and maybe bring up those answers maybe from your database, as opposed to running this whole system over and over again. And then the APIs we're going to use is the Google Gemini LLM. I think this example was using 2.5 Flash. And Langsmith, I think, was the one for the tracing, just seeing the interactions between the model and whoever was probably sending the message. So LangGraph was for the agent orchestration, and then Langsmith is for the observability. And we can use the Africa stocking, especially SMS to bring all those things together. And then then you can go to making the MVP. So here your inputs will be the user query. It could be maybe through the UI or maybe through SMS, and then you get your results back. And then you'll have to find a way to maybe chunk up the messages, so that you can, because I think we have limits to how many characters you can put. So you need to split those messages up. And again, you can also use voice for this. So yeah, you're free to mix and match. This is just a guide. And then for the process, you're going to generate queries, then search, reflect, then iterate and synthesize. So that's probably what's going to go on most of the time. So maybe observing each step would be nice. And then here we have the answers, and the answers should be also always have citations. And this is also a tricky part, because if you have links here, like those links would be gigantic. So if there's a way you can maybe like put all that information together and send it, like again, you're free to explore various modes of doing that. And some of the information that other presenters have talked about, like handling APIs securely, adding some rate limits so that people don't abuse your system. Sometimes the Google search can be overwhelmed, so have a way of dealing with that, or sometimes licensing errors. So success, your metric of success here is to build an end-to-end system and making sure each and every text has at least one citation. That will help you with the hallucination problem. And some things you'll need here, mostly external things. You need a Gemini API key. I think you can also use it for free, at least for this. I think maybe if you do a lot of requests, that's when I think you might run into problems, but I think this one you can get it for free, the Gemini API key. Langsmith, you need to make a Langsmith account and get the API key. You might not need the LangGraph Cloud license key. That's not so important, but these first two are important for this particular project. And then for this, if you're working solo, I have a guide here that you can use, and it's going to take you quite some time. This is a proposed time, like 240 hours. That's a pretty long time. But if you're in a small team, it's going to take at least less time if you at least break down your work into something like this. What else do we have here? So here, this is at least some deliverables that you should have so that to keep everyone like in check. And obviously, you're supposed to do some tests to make sure the system works okay. And I think that's pretty much it. Here's just some topics that people can send in. Maybe the latest trends in wind turbines, or farming. Maybe you can put it towards a specific sector like farming, or maybe education, and you'll have more impact if you set it up like that. And that's all I had for you guys. Yeah, thanks for your time, and looking forward to see what you're going to build. Back to you, MK.
Thank you so much, Manje. That was really wonderful. Just taking note that we don't want to deep dive because all these materials have some sample code that you could run. We have even some GitHub repos that you could actually check out. So not to worry, you're not leaving you in the wild. And also again, for you to have some creativity around it and also build your own modules, you see. But one thing I'll emphasize when you're running these and maybe we're not able to support in time, feel free to also test them out, but also to understand, to have a deeper understanding the concept behind some of these modules so that you're able to guide the people who are not on this call. Something else that Trevor has made me understand is that we need a call with the Google certified experts to take them through what we are trying to achieve here, as well as some of the modules, so that we distribute the load in a way that they can be able to support fully, given these are Google Cloud experts and Google AI experts in the room. So ideally, don't worry. I think there will be an email coming from Graham. We can do a call later in the evening or tomorrow in the morning. But since most of them are based in Nigeria, I don't know how early can you guys meet. But feel free. It's an open one because from next week, but one, we are hitting the road. And in fact, from next week, we are able to share most of the events across the region. And the question at this point will be flowing because these events will be going to over 250 plus thousand community members of our community, and we would like to support it smoothly. Something else I need to repeat in case you're joining, we'll have a Slack channel where all these experts as well as our A team supporting in real time on different questions. So if you're the muted Slack, please go and mute. If you're the disabled notification, please go and enable. I know AT team are always, dodgy. So this is the time, at least for the next 3 months, so that people don't go unanswered and also they don't find the help they're looking for. Welcome, Flynn. Welcome, Kofi. Good to see you guys. They're joining us from Ghana. So we're going to be doing something virtual there in Ghana. So, and you'll get all the support you need. So without further ado, I don't know if Trevor, you can greet us. I know we'll not ask you questions at this point. We need some orientation of sorts. So yeah, for sure, Trevor, we will introduce you to the program. But greet us, man. Also, Flynn, feel free to greet us. Anusi, Adam, I can see all of you have Josephat. Josephat is a guy who is already on the leaderboard. Josephat, greet us. Maybe just reiterating what you have already built. But guys who have presenter mode, greet us before we end the call, and then we'll be good. Very nice.
Sylvia, hi everyone. Yeah. So yeah, it's great to be on the call. And it's amazing to see how, I mean, AT is growing each and every day with new innovation. So yeah, really looking forward to you know, building more innovative applications and I mean, expanding on the developer community. MK, so I had the guy I spoke to you about. I think he said he submitted his details, so I'll confirm from him, and then he said he's already submitted it already, so you can confirm from your end.
Yeah, for sure. If you can send me his email, I can actually check it out. But you have not received any submission from that side, as far as I'm concerned. But just send
Okay.
the names. I can check that real quick and tell you.
Okay, sharing it. Okay, I'll share it right now.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other feedback, question? I can see people commenting on the chat, which is really good. But feel free to unmute and greet us. Yes, Trevor.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
It's
Loud
it's
and
really
clear.
cool. It's a pleasure, you guys, having this, like, be part of this. Just getting back on the other point, the document. I think we needed like that introduction to the program, so that I also need to have like a plan myself on how I can really fully engage and really contribute. I think that will really be helpful. And then I'm also much not in on like, don't have much experience with the AT services, but I'm much of a cloud guy, Google Cloud guy. So if maybe there's a way can be helped onto that, the introductions. Maybe there's a content or any video, if at all, maybe any person has done any video in any way, it can really be helpful. Then I can see how I can merge my knowledge now from that side, and then of course see how we can really support the learners.
Yeah.
Cool. I
All
think
right.
that's all with me.
Okay. I see the influencer there is not having it. You know, we have an influencer in the room. She has shot all the videos she needs to shoot. Please, Sylvia, the floor is all yours.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you, MK and team. Hi, Trevor. Welcome. I think what I would just give as a quick breakdown to sort of give you what to expect in the program, even before that introductory meeting, and then tell you where you can get more details on African stocking. Just be warned, I'm not an influencer, as they may have said, but you may or may not see me in some videos. So the whole aspect or the idea behind this program is that we are merging Africa's stocking technologies, which are 2G APIs, together with Google Cloud and generative AI. We're creating an inclusive program that runs from, well, particularly this week, but when we launch at the beginning of October, training of trainers is now. You will be part of the training team because there will be modules from Google Cloud, there will be modules from Gen AI, and there will be modules from Africa's stocking. What we did on this call is introduce the Africa's stocking modules just to give you an idea, but we'll share the Colab notebooks with you, and then you'll be able to run them and really go through all the details and all the links included. This is just to give you an idea of what, as a trainer, you should expect. So you get to see the modules before the people that you'll be training, just so that you have the knowledge beforehand and you can at least anticipate or ask the questions or ask us what you don't understand beforehand. So all through the program, the participants will be doing this self-paced program with a few touch points, which is what is highlighted in the doc that you got. A few physical touch points here and there. 3 main cities that will be running it are Nairobi, Joburg, and Lagos. And then there'll be other cities running it virtually. So there'll be physical touch points at the start, somewhere in the middle, and at the very end, where they will have done a capstone project that encompasses all they've been learning throughout the program. As a trainer, you will be tasked with explaining the concepts during the physical or virtual meetups that will be happening in or near where you stay, as well as having sessions with the participants per week, office hours, where they'll be able to ask if there are any questions or even run the discussions on Slack, give responses, and let us know in places where you may be stuck so that we can plug in and help bridge that knowledge gap. So that is what is expected of you as a trainer. We'll share the notebooks that we have shared on this call for you to go through before, because these ones are particularly touching on Africa's talking APIs, and worry not, they are right from introductory. The first module I presented was introductory, so you'll get a good understanding of the basis even as you get deeper into the content. There is also on GitHub, the Africa's Talking GitHub, there's a few demos and instructions on how you can set up your account just to know more about how to use that technology. And additionally, on YouTube, if you look for Africa's Talking, there is a whole playlist of tutorials and videos to help you get started. So just for your knowledge, you can look for YouTube, you can look on GitHub and just get a proper understanding. You can even find articles here and there from the developer community. We have a vast developer community all across the world, majorly across Africa. So people have written articles, be it Medium, be it Hashnode, even GitHub demos, lots everywhere you will find here and there that can help you just get hands-on with the Africa's Talking product. But the idea is that cumulatively, the capstone project that Ben has highlighted has covered that whatever they're building will include both 2G technologies, will include Google Cloud, and will include Gen AI. So your task as a trainer is to hold their hand all through the program, help them complete that capstone. That's the idea. And in so doing, you're also gaining a lot and upskilling in the process. And maybe here and there would be nice things coming your way. We never know. We're all praying. But that sort of covers the program overview and what is expected and where you can find videos from said influencer and others who've explained how Africa's Talking works. I hope that answers your question. MK, you are muted.
Oh, I can hear myself. So I'm saying, I'm just telling Trevor or any other person who might choose to ignore the influencer. It's on their own loss. But do your research. So definitely, I'm sure that call would be really good, given that we had a few Google experts here. Also you have Pius Mafabi. There's also Rebecca Peace Mirembe. We might have that call later today. If that's okay with you guys, we can set, even if it's 30 minutes, we get to know you guys. You have not spoken in this call because we'll interact for the next 3 months closely, given that you'll be on the ground on different apps. But thank you so much, Sylvia, for breaking that down into details. It's just that we'll do this call on behalf of the certified guys who are not on this call. Possibly in the evening or tomorrow morning. So I would like to stop there unless any of my colleagues have any more inputs. But definitely we'll populate those the documentation as well as the modules that have been shared. In fact, they will be public. So anyone who will be registering for events in different hubs should be able to get everything that we have prepared. Definitely, as you have noted, some of them have realized there's some code missing. I love when engineers edit code on screen. It shows, the reality of writing code. So you'll see a lot of improvement. And in case you identify something that is broken, feel free to reach out to us. And by month 2, it will be the most advanced module that anyone can guide and learn. Any word from the guys in the room? Right? Okay. Yes, Graham.
Yeah, I was raising my hand. This is nice. So 2 things. We're also going to be very deliberate on the social media. Can you hear us? Sylvia.
There's an echo. There's an echo between you and MK. One of you mute.
Mute. Okay, I don't know.
I think it should be good.
Yeah, should be
Okay.
good now.
All right. So there's going to be a lot of deliberate social media push. Remember, we also want as many people to discover the Google AI ecosystem as they are discovering the Africa stocking ecosystem. So that's one. And then two, we'll also be looking at growing incentives across the 3 months. So of course, some of them will be swag, but also there are some monetary benefits. Of course, let me also say the third thing, which is natural, is guys, also you can feel free to make sure you optimize all the knowledge you get, so that way you also end up being a very good engineer. All right, back to you, Mr. MK.
Are we allowed to participate? You know, some of us also are looking for Christmas.
Everybody, man. This is now going to be the leaderboard. So
Guys,
if you guys are also very good at it, as long as you don't shortchange the learners, guys. Have a good heart, this is Africa, but make sure that but bring your A game. This is going to be very important. Bring your A game. Our main outcome is to make sure that we have at least 5,000 certified developers in Africa on at least Vertex, Gemini, Google AI platform.
very nice. The figures that I saw, that's super exciting, both for social media and the program itself. So without further ado, I would like to thank everyone who made time to join this call. And I would like to give you back around 25 minutes of your life. It was super, super amazing. So look out for invite of Slack channel on the community channel, as well as a meeting later on once you agree the timing. But thank you so much, and may the building with AI and building with IT start, and all the best to everyone. Until further notice, goodbye for now.